You're watching Mohawk TV's special presentation of Candidates Night for the 2012 Mohawk Council of Kahnawake elections.
My parents are here, Jimmy Daibo and Teresa Daibo. My grandmother is over there, Tessie Bantor, my grandfather Russell Daibo. Firstly, what I'd like to say is I'd like to address a couple issues here. We as a Mohawk people have been proud for many, many generations to live within the community, to live by a certain law. Back in 1979, the Band Council was they were petitioned to go back towards a traditional form of government. And up until today, you know, we've slowly gotten towards the traditional government. I mean, you look around, we have like corn planting festival now where we take days off and such. But it's a little more than that to being a Mohawk. You know, what we're living right now with these laws under this Indian Act system and all in the Band Council system, where our right as a Mohawk right now as it stands is you have the right to be tax exempt. Now, that for me is not enough as a Mohawk individual. Our rights as Mohawk people should include the fact that you're Mohawk not just when you're in the boundaries of Kahnawake, but when you go outside as well. Taxation rights, you're tax-free 100% here under reserve. That's great. As soon as you go off to the store to Walmart, you get what? You got to pay one tax. You get half the tax off, so on. A lot of jurisdiction we've lost over the years, and this is what I'm looking to hopefully get into council to fight for, is to get our jurisdiction back, to get us back as a Mohawk people, to get us back into our proud nation, to get us our rights back as a Mohawk person. Because you're not just Mohawk while you're on the reserve. When you go off to work off the reserve, you should have the same rights as you do here on the reserve, tax exempt. You see, a lot of people, they look at these laws, you know, maybe we're too comfortable with the way we're set. But I'm looking to not get us in our comfort zone, but to bring us back as a community in whole. I'm looking to bring back for the community, the decision-making process, everything that we do in council should go through the people first. Your rights, your lands. You know, it's a little nervous being up here, but it's easier doing this on the radio, I guess. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there that we, the people, have to come together as one, unify as one, and work to help this council abroad. No matter whether it's me that you elect, whether it's Peggy, Rhonda, Peter, Paul, we, the people, have to come together and direct this council as one in the direction we as a people want to go for unity. Like I said, to reestablish our rights as a Mohawk, because we're not just Mohawk while we're here under reserve. As soon as you leave the territory, you're Mohawk. Our border crossing rights are currently being infringed because the US says, well, somebody crashed a plane into the buildings, now it's on high security. We as Mohawks, we're not allowed to cross freely like we used to. That's something, the table that we have to bring back together. We have to reestablish our jurisdiction as a community as a whole. This is something I'm looking to do if elected into council with the other incumbents, whoever gets elected with me, so that we come together as one to work for you, the people. I'm not good at this public speaking. It's a little nerve-wracking up here. My apologies, I'm stumbling a little bit. But I mean, gist of everything for me is jurisdiction and the focus towards the people. If you people want change in this community, want things to go back to a traditional form of government, you want to have your say, then you could vote for myself or whoever feels the same way as I do. My apologies, like I said, I'm not very good at public speaking, but there will be question and answers later on, and you could ask me questions and I'll gladly answer them later on.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Bova. Everybody knows my father is Zethda, and my mother was Carol. She worked at the hospital all her life. Running for council, you know, a lot of things I'm not happy about, so I'd rather sit back and complain and bitch, and maybe I'll try to do something. Okay, now this is without prejudice to the people who are here. Number one on my top, I got this all in point form since we only have 5 minutes. I had 21 minutes at the radio station and 15 minutes at the TV station. Now I got 5 minutes here, so as I go along, it's going downhill. QKR, July 2009, we signed an agreement with Quebec, and one of those clauses are in the agreement. It's available on the internet, so anybody wants to read it, you just search Quebec government, you'll see it. It says, the parties accept and recognize the respective distinctiveness and equalities of their cultures, their language, their laws, customs, traditions, as well as their national identities. So we respect Quebec's distinctiveness. If Quebec was to separate from Canada, they have our full blessing, okay? Their language is their laws, okay? Right now they have the Office de langue française. They stripped us of our Mohawk language. Sisters of St. Anne came here, took over the schools, they taught us English. Now we speak English. Quebec is trying to take our English away. You go to Montreal, they try to get service in English. They don't have to serve you in English. Well, we now respect that with this 2009 law. Okay, that was, okay. Also in that 2000 law, the new 10 agreements, some call it 13 agreements, was the Highway 207 renovation and a rail station, okay? That was supposed to be all ratified within 1 year from July 2009. Now it's July 2012, 2 years later, there's still no rail station there. The Mercier Bridge, that situation is going downhill. I was told by engineers when I worked there last fall that bridge is on the verge of being condemned, and one of the options is building a new bridge alongside of it. This is what the engineers said, the new engineering reports that came out from all the work that was done on that bridge last fall, the cleaning of the steel, okay? So I said that would never happen. So the people would never allow a new bridge built alongside. That would be taking more land on this side. So anyways, now every morning that train flies through town with all those people from Dawson, St. Constant, sitting there with their Journal de Montréal and their Tim Hortons coffee, going over the bridge. We're stuck in traffic. We have no rail station, and it's going to get worse, that bridge. Okay? I was just last weekend, we were supposed to have that bridge blocked, but we have to go to Champlain Bridge. Emergency, ambulance has to go to Montreal with one of our people. Got to go by Champlain Bridge. The people that go for dialysis on the weekends are already in a bad way. They have to get an hour earlier in the morning to get to Montreal for 7 o'clock by going by Champlain Bridge. If we had a train station, we could arrange on a Saturday morning for our people to go to the hospital to have their dialysis. Nothing is being done. 2007 agreement, 2009 agreement, that rail station was supposed to be done 1 year, 2 years later, nothing. And nobody's working on it, I guess. Okay, the parties will give immediate attention to the termination of judicial lands along Outer Route 30. When we signed that law in July 2009, immediately we had to kiss their ass for that Highway 30 on our scenery lands. Now that interchange is in operation. We had a land deal and a handshake. Has that been completed in black and white? I don't know. Maybe Mike can answer that later, you know. Agreement of fiscal matters related to tobacco, petroleum, and alcohol products. I had a friend call me last week. He got pulled over by the SQ, and all these cigarettes were confiscated that he bought on the reserve. Quebec and their goons are infringing on Mohawk commerce. We have every right to do whatever business we want in Kahnawake. As soon as they leave the reserve, whatever happens. Where's this July 2009 agreement where they respect this? Now they're supposed to respect our cultures, our language, our laws. We have a Mohawk law pertaining to tobacco. Are they listening to us? No. Seaways, trains, highway lines. Seaway, boats pass every day. Chemical tankers going by every day. They're making $1 million.
1 minute, Gary.
Okay, anyways, see what I mean? I mean, this is electoral. Anyway, we got to start charging those boats for passing through the sea. This is our resource. They stole our lands and our resources on SSL. There needs to be an immediate movement on SSL. We need new lands. Basically, Kahnawake, we're living in a toxic dump now. On the north wind, those boats passing, diesel fumes pass over our reserve. The trains, the highways, all the trucks, we got a diesel fume exhaust cloud over Kahnawake. Okay, now it just came out with reports, toxic diesel exhaust is more cancer causing than previously known. We have a cancer epidemic in Kahnawake. We have decades of land dumping, landfills, all the chemicals that were dumped, the John Lawrence dump, IW's dump. We have 4 golf courses who dump tons of chemicals, herbicides and pesticides every year so we can play golf without the dandelions. We live in a toxic soup. We need new land.
Good evening. My name is Mike Bush. If you pay attention to the ballot, it may say Michael. Keep that in mind. My father is Osler Bush. My mother is Myrtle Bush. My wife is Nina McCumber. My children are Wisse, Travis, and Cheryl. We have an opportunity here for those people who are incumbent council members, is that most of the issues that we have to deal with on a regular basis are being addressed or being brought up as issues right now. Well, I have the opportunity to be able to say to you that these issues are addressed. People on council do pay attention. People on council do work on all of these things that have been expressed so far, and there'll be more. And I made a couple of notes just to remind myself. It's the 10 agreements. A lot of confusion about 10 agreements. I specifically, somebody asked me if this was going to come up, so I specifically got the list. And what it amounts to is agreement on child care. If we want to get rid of step by step, we can eliminate that agreement. We've got an agreement on economic development. May not be working extraordinarily well, but the AIF funding that Daywood gets comes through this agreement. Agreement on the administration of justice. It's not working. Never has from the beginning. It was a failure from the start. Agreement on police services. We want to get rid of this agreement. We can shut down the peacekeepers. Working document on professional combat sports. Council's been getting a couple of, quite a few requests in fact, to set up MMA events on the territory. This agreement, when it was done, was the first IFC, International Fighting Championship, or what was it they called it? Anyway, it was the first event in Quebec, and us working with Quebec made it possible to legitimate, to legalize MMA fighting in the province of Quebec. Now it's all over the country. It's all over the United States. Okay. Believe it or not, there was a working document relating to video lottery terminals, machines, okay? It was council that turned around and canceled that agreement. Curiously, 10 years later, if we had that agreement up and running today, we would have been in a position to negotiate with Quebec on gaming. Online gaming, MIT, all of these things that have happened subsequently, we would have been in a position to open up that discussion on gaming if we had that agreement working. It's not working, all right? This one I get a real kick out of. The agreement on the taxation of consumer goods and services. This is the agreement that allows us, the only Indians in Quebec, to step off the reserve and enjoy tax exemption. It may be minor, but we're the only Indians in Quebec that can still do this.
1 minute.
Oh, jeez. The one that everybody has most trouble with, agreement on taxation of tobacco, petroleum, and alcohol products. Never did work, not from day one. Couldn't get it up and running. So it's non-existent. No point in talking about it because it's not there. Okay, the last one was on transport and user fees. We get $2.5 million a year, no strings, no questions asked. We get it because that agreement is in place today. Okay? With regard to Quebec and Canada, we have to talk to them. They're out there. They are making laws which they think apply to us. If you don't have in council somebody who is constantly fighting with them to tell them that your law cannot apply on the territory of Kahnawake, the whole thing.
Wegwe, my name is Gina Deer. My mom is Elizabeth Deer. My dad's Peter Rice. I'm married to Ron Guimont. I'm from the Wolf Clan. I've run for council in the past, and people asked, why did I attempt to do it again? I said, because I was encouraged by many people to take another shot at it. Last time I had run, I just figured, okay, well, the people spoke, and that was their decision. But throughout the 3 years, I've been approached on several occasions. So here I am again today. So what have I done in 3 years? Well, I've continued to serve this community in my job as a frontline worker. And I was hoping at council level to serve as a long-term. For 3 years to go and handle bigger projects rather than frontline immediate emergency situations. I like to be on long-term projects, mainly with the government. I opened up a gas station near Jowarodo. Anybody who frequents Jowarodo knows the inconvenience of not having it there. For the last 2 years before I opened it up, it was closed. And I would pass and I'd say to my husband, I said, you know, I'd like to open up that place. We really need it. People of this community really need it. We rely on the gas, we run generators, we run ATCs, snowmobiles, because we use it year-round now. So I started looking into it. My first thing I did was I met with the city in St. Lucie, and I wanted to see if they would be receptive to having a native person come into their town and open a business. Because it's pretty much unheard of. People don't leave the community and go and buy up land and open businesses, because then you have to deal with the government. But I did. I took that on. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. And it's something you can't do alone, because I had to consult many people, from accountants, lawyers, notaries. And at the government level, I know there's programs available to us, and they always tell us about this money that's available. I said, okay, well, where is this money? I'd like to know where it is. So I contacted the ABC in Montreal, and they told me, yes, there's up to $99,000 available. All right. I'd like to use the maximum contribution. So I went after this $99,000. I'll tell you, getting money from the government is not easy. They made me work for it. I had to negotiate. I had to get studies done on my property. I could not believe the amount of work that I had to do and things they requested that were not even reasonable. But I said, okay, bring it on. What else do you need? What else do you want? I commissioned people for phase 1 and 2 studies, environmental impact studies, business valuation studies, you name it. So it came time to submit all these documents, and again, the government was trying to stonewall me. Well, you know, you need proof of this money, where it went, proof of this, proof of that. So I had to gather all these documents and submit my proof. And all along the way, I had to fight with government to get what I was told I was entitled to. That's why I'm running again, because I like to fight with this government for what the people of this community are entitled to. I didn't open the gas station just for myself. I opened the gas station because it's going to serve everybody from Jowarodo community who goes up there and frequents. Okay. I'm not afraid to put myself up to anything and stand up to anyone or anything, and that's why I do the job that I do. My job actually works against me because people get mad when I have to do my job. But that's what people mandated me to do, and that's what I go out there and I do. I don't sit back and just wait for a call. I go out there and I actively patrol this community. But I would like to actively go out there and fight for this community and produce economic systems so people don't have to leave the reserve and pay taxes on a job, because that's what's going to happen. Sure, there are jobs out there, but when you leave this reserve, you've got to pay the taxes. And that's the problem. Not only do you have to travel, you're going to be paying half of your salary in tax. These are our rights, and we should not be paying any taxes. We have to start fighting and utilizing whatever resources we have around us, because the government is utilizing our land still. So, July 7th, I hope to see you all there.
We'll be back with more coverage of Candidates Night after this quick commercial break.